Well, hello, dear friends. Scotty the Trainer here. Thank you for spending a few moments with me right here on Scotty the Trainer. You know, today I thought I would talk about masks. Masks on, masks off. So, this week here in Ohio, there was a very interesting thing that came about. Our governor said on one day masks would be mandated for everybody to wear. Then the next day, he decided, well, you know what? Maybe we went a little too far there. Masks are strongly urged that you should wear them. If businesses require them for you to wear them to come in, you should wear them. If not, we're going to leave it to you as an individual. So the question is, masks on or masks off? So here's the thought that I have about it. When it happened, there was a big outcry. I heard both sides of the issue. I heard people saying, how dare they mandate that we have to wear a mask everywhere that we go? And then there were people that said, as a way to, sort of protest against it, I'm not going to wear a mask. And I was really shocked, honestly, because I don't understand why it was a big deal about the mask, because a lot of people have been wearing masks for ages. What I mean by that is they cloak their love for God and all people. They cloak it in having such a hateful attitude towards everybody else. You don't believe like me, you don't act like me, so they wear a mask. And there's plenty of people out there in the world that are what we would call two-face, and they show you one face, and that's just the mask. You can't really get to know some people because you can't get past the masks. Well, you can see where I'm going with this, obviously. Now, as far as this goes in COVID nation, the mask issue, it has some valid points. Sure it does. Especially if you're in the age demographic. I would understand wearing a mask to protect yourself. Others so keenly and wisely say, the mask really isn't for your benefit, it's to protect everybody else that's around you. It makes sense. I'm not going to fight about it. Now, if I'm going outside to walk my dog, or I'm going outside to enjoy a fine day like we have here at this particular time, I'm not going outside to wear a mask. But if I'm going into a grocery store and they have a great deal on, chicken cutlets, and they say in order to come in here you got to wear a mask, hey man, I'll put my mask on and I'm going to go get me some chicken. So I guess the issue with the mask is when this is all said and done and the dust settles, the issue really becomes, what are we going to do with the mask? And no, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this. We as people. A fabulous, fabulous story that I read, great Jewish story, tells about a man who had a child, and this child was possessed by a spirit, and this spirit would take his child and cause him to convulse and throw himself on the ground. Matter of fact, the story tells us that the spirit would throw him into fire and then would pull him out of the fire. Basically was just torturing his son. Now some say it was a mental condition, but let's go with what the Jewish story tells us, that it was a spirit that was behind it. And so this man comes to the greatest teacher of all time. He brings him to the man named Jesus. And you can find this story, if you have a Bible, you can find it in the book of Mark and verses 22, 23, 24. And a very interesting thing happens as he comes to Jesus and he says, please, sir, please, if there's anything you can do, please help my child. Who could not, as a parent, feel this man's angst and feel this man's urgency to say, please help me? Many today, if they become sick, the first thing they do, get a hold of the doctor, find out, because right now the first thing everybody says when they get, hope it's not COVID. Hope it's not COVID-19. Hope it's not this coronavirus. I hope I don't have it. And of course we say that because that's what's all around us everywhere. And so the great teacher, Jesus, the great healer, looks at him and says, all things are possible. In other words, your child could very well be delivered if you believe. Do you believe that I can do this? Do you believe there's healing? Listen, do you believe there's a better day coming? Do you believe we're coming out of this quarantine, lockdown? Do you believe? And this father has a choice. He could keep the mask on and say, well, sure, I believe. Well, absolutely, I believe. Oh, I have faith. Regardless of the fact that my child is being tormented, regardless of the fact that he's being thrown into the fire. Oh, somebody told me you can help me. I believe. But I want you to hear what this man says. And you can read it in those passages. That man says to him, Lord, I believe. But now watch this. He has to come out from under the mask. Lord, I believe. But then he takes the mask off and becomes real. And he says, help my unbelief. That in a moment, in one moment in time, looking at a chance to see his child delivered and set free, he couldn't wear a mask anymore. He could not put up a fake belief. He could not put up a what Italians call a fugazi. He could not be fake anymore. He had to come out from under that mask and say, I believe, but let me take the mask off and be totally honest with you. If there's somewhere that I don't believe, please help my unbelief. I believe that in the middle of all of this COVID-19 nation that we're living in, under this quarantine, lockdown that we're living in, when this is all said and done, we're going to have to come out from under this. We're going to have to start letting people see the real us. Not part way, right? Because when you see people wearing a mask like this, you say, well, why are you bothering to wear the mask? Or you see a mask like this, what good is that? I'm going to keep my chin from getting the COVID. No. When it's all said and done, the real us should emerge. It's not enough to claim we're a loving, caring, graceful people. We're going to have to really become that. So when this is all over with, when this is all said and done, when the dust settles and we are back to normal, whatever that looks like, we're going to have to come out from under all of that show that we've put up. And the real us will have to stand up. So my question is not as so much as, are you going to wear a mask to the grocery store? Or are you going to wear a mask outside? That's your decision. But when it's all said and done and we're dealing with people, what's going to touch other people and affect other people is not the persona that you have. It's the real you. So my question is, mask on or not? Just some thoughts. I'm Scotty the Trainer.